Hello my dear students, welcome to my channel. In this series, we will be discussing magnetic effects of current. In the magnetic effects of current, we will be starting with magnetic field. In this chapter, we will discuss the magnetic field due to a current carrying wire and the magnetic field due to a moving charge. Then the next chapter will be the magnetic force on a moving charge. So whenever a charge which is moving is placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a magnetic force. The next chapter will be the magnetic force on a current carrying wire. So a current carrying wire not only produces a field, it also experiences a force when placed in an external field. Next chapter will be the torque on a current carrying loop. So when a current carrying loop is placed in a magnetic field, it experiences torque. The next thing that we will discuss is classical magnetism. In this chapter, we will be discussing about magnets, the properties of magnets, the force experienced by magnets or the force that the magnet exerts on other objects. We will discuss magnetic moment of a magnet. Then in the next chapter, we'll be discussing Earth's magnetism. So the Earth has its own magnetic field and we will be discussing the elements of Earth's magnetism like the angle of dip, the angle of declination, the components of Earth's magnetic field. Okay, so now let's start with today's class. In today's class, we'll be starting with the first chapter and that is magnetic field due to a straight current carrying wire and we'll start with Biot-Savart's law. So we'll start this topic with Biot-Savart's law. So in your class 10th, you have already studied that a current carrying wire produces a magnetic field around itself. And this experiment was done by Oersted. So you have studied Oersted's experiment when you studied in class 10. And he demonstrated that a current carrying wire will produce a magnetic field around itself. That is, it will attract iron nails. Okay. So now we will discuss how to calculate the magnetic field due to a current carrying wire using Biot-Savart's law. So this is suppose any current carrying wire carrying a current I. Let us take an element dl. This is element of length dl. So this is an element of length dl. So what is dl? It is a vector quantity whose direction is along the direction of current and his magnitude is equal to the length of this element. And suppose that you want to find the magnetic field at point P. So this is the point where you want to find the magnetic field, and suppose from this element the vector joining this element and point P is r vector starting from dl vector towards p vector, p point. So the magnetic field due to this element is called db. So the magnetic field due to this element is called db, and db is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl cross r upon r cube. So this is the formula for Biot-Savart's law, and you have to remember this. The magnetic field due to a small element on this wire db is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl cross r upon r cube, cross product. So this is a cross product of dl vector and r vector. Okay, so what is the direction of the magnetic field? So again I will write so you know that again I will write db is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl cross r upon r cube, right? So the direction of db vector is along dl cross r. So the direction of magnetic field can be found using the cross product of dl and r. So you know that to find the direction of any cross product, you place your right hand fingers along the first vector, curl it towards the second vector. The direction of thumb gives the direction of magnetic field. So again I am repeating how to find the direction of magnetic field vector or the db vector. Place your fingers along this dl vector, curl it towards the r vector. The direction of the thumb gives you the direction of db vector. Okay, so dB vector will be maximum. So this you can write this as mu naught upon 4 pi I dl r sine theta upon r cube. Okay, so dB will be maximum when sine theta is 1, that is the angle between dl and r is 90 degree. Similarly, dB will be 0 when the angle between dl and r vector is either 0 degree or 180 degree, because in that case the uh, cross product is 0. Okay, so if you write the magnitude, so again I've written here the same thing. dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi, so one r will get cancelled out and you will get mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sine theta upon r square. Okay, so if you remember in Coulomb's law, you have seen that the electric field was inversely proportional to r square. Here is also the magnetic field is inversely proportional to r square, but the difference there was it was in the radial direction, but dB vector is not in the radial direction. It is in the direction along this cross product. Okay, so the direction of dB, you know that in any cross product, a, you know that a cross b, is perpendicular to a vector as well as b vector, and or you can say perpendicular to the plane containing a vector and b vector. So same in the same way, the direction of dB vector is perpendicular to both dl vector and r vector, or you can say it is perpendicular to the plane containing dl vector and r vector. Here this mu naught that we are talking about here, this mu naught is called the permeability of free space. This mu naught is called the permeability of free space or the permeability of vacuum. The SI unit of magnetic field is called Tesla. The CGS unit of magnetic field is called Gauss. 1 Tesla is 10 raised to the power 4 Gauss. In the SI unit, the value of mu naught is 4 pi into 10 raised to power minus 7. The unit of mu naught is represented in terms of Henry per meter, but still till now we have not discussed what is Henry. So you can also write this as Newton per ampere square. So the SI unit of mu naught can be represented as Newton per ampere square. All right. So now what is so now we have discussed the magnetic field due to a current carrying element, right? Now we will discuss the magnetic field due to a moving charge. So suppose this charge q at this instant is moving with a velocity v, at and you have to find the magnetic field at this point p, and this vector joining the charge and the point P is r vector. At this instant, what is the magnetic field due to charge q at point P? Okay, so the magnetic field is given by this formula mu naught upon 4 pi q v cross r upon r cube. That is mu naught upon 4 pi q v r sine theta upon r cube. Now one r will get cancelled out and the magnitude will come out to be mu naught upon 4 pi q v sine theta upon r square. The direction of magnetic field will be perpendicular to both v vector and r vector, or the plane containing the velocity and the r vector. So again in this case you have to, if you want to find the direction, you will point your fingers, right hand fingers along v vector, curl it towards the r vector. The direction of the thumb will give you the direction of the magnetic field. Now from the current electricity chapter, I hope everybody remembers that the current in terms of drift velocity is given by the formula I is equal to NEAVD, where what is small n? Small n is number of electrons per unit volume. So suppose this is the DL element and A is the area of cross section of this element. then you can write small n is capital N by ADL, means area multiplied by this DL. Area multiplied by this DL is basically volume, and N by volume is small n. N is total number of electrons. Okay, so I is also equal to N by ADL EAVD. So you cancel A and A, you will get NEVD divided by DL. Okay, so now I multiplied by DL, from here you will get I multiplied by DL is equal to NEVD. Vd is the drift velocity. Okay, so now you know that the magnetic field due to one electron can be, you can use this formula. The magnetic field due to one electron is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi q. Q is E, the charge of electron is represented by E, Vd cross R upon R cube. We have used the same formula. We are assuming that all electrons are moving with average speed of Vd. So what will be the net magnetic field? We just multiply with capital N. So mu naught Ne upon 4 pi Vd cross R upon R cube. But here what is this NEVD? NEVD is nothing but IDL. So if you replace this NEVD with IDL, see, you will get the same expression as Biot-Savart's law. You will get the same expression as Biot-Savart's law. All right. Okay. Then we need to find the magnetic field due to a straight current carrying wire. So this is a uniform straight current carrying wire. We need to find the magnetic field due to a uniform straight current carrying wire. So suppose this is the straight current carrying wire. This is the straight current carrying wire, and this is from this wire at a distance r there is a point P. At this point you need to find the magnetic field. So you need to find the magnetic field at point P. So here magnetic field you need to find. Okay, so suppose this point P is at a perpendicular distance of capital R from the uniform current carrying wire. So this is your uniform current carrying wire, and this is the angle subtended by the ends at point P is θ1 and θ2. Okay, so now let us from this point at a distance x, let us take a small element of width dx. Now let this dx subtend an angle theta at the point P from this horizontal line whose distance is r. Okay, so from you can say that dB will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl. Instead of dl, this will be dx cross r. So this is your r vector, dl cross r upon r cube. From this you will write mu naught upon 4 pi I dx into r into sine. Now listen to me very carefully. So listen to me very carefully. See, this is r vector, and this is dx vector is in this direction, or dl vector is in this direction, right? And this angle is theta. So what will be this angle? The angle between r vector and dl vector is 90 plus theta, right? So I dl r sine 90 plus theta divided by r cube. R getting cancelled out, so you will get dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dx sine 90 plus theta is cos theta divided by r square. So this is your dB, right? Okay, now you can say that small r is what? Small r is from here you will see that you can say that cos theta is equal to capital R by small r. So small r is nothing but r sec theta. So this small r can be replaced with r sec theta. Okay, right? So this is r sec theta. I have replaced it with r sec theta. Also from this triangle you can see that tan theta is equal to x by r. So tan theta is equal to x by r. That means x is equal to r tan theta. Now if you differentiate this, you will get dx is equal to r is a constant. This r is a capital R is a constant. Okay, so r differentiation of tan theta is sec square theta d theta. So here this dx can be replaced with r sec square theta d theta. So now the dB will become mu naught upon 4 pi I r sec square theta d theta cos theta divided by r square, that is capital R square sec square theta. Now you will see that this sec square theta gets cancelled out and one r also getting cancelled out. So you will get dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon r cos theta d theta. Okay, now for every element you can see that there is also one symmetric element. So for every element you can see that there is a symmetric element. Before finding the symmetric element, let us see what is the direction of magnetic field due to this current carrying wire. So because your dl vector is along this direction, r vector is along this direction, so you will see that dl cross r vector points inside the plane. So dl cross r vector here is inside the plane, right? So this cross represents inside the plane, and dot represents outside the plane. Okay, so now if I take this element, then this is dl vector, and you will see that dl cross r vector is still inside the plane. That is, for every element the field is in the same direction, and that is inside the plane. Okay, so that means you can directly say that B will be equal to integration of dB, that is integration of this. Now it is mu naught upon 4 pi I upon r integration cos theta d theta. Now how to put the limits? Now to put the limits, you will see that we have taken the distance from here. That means we are measuring angle from here. So if you measure angle like this, then it will be a positive angle, and if you measure like this, then it will be a negative angle. So you from here to here you have to go from this angle to this angle, that is from minus theta 2 to plus theta 1. So you will integrate it from minus theta 2 to plus theta 1, and finally you will get, everybody knows that integration cos theta d theta is sin theta. So the magnetic field due to a straight current carrying wire at any point at a distance capital R from the wire is equal to mu naught I upon 4 pi r sin theta 1 plus sin theta 2, where theta 1 and theta 2 are the angles subtended by the end points of the wire at the point P. Okay, so this is the formula that you have to remember. This is the formula for the magnetic field due to a straight current carrying wire at any point P. So B is equal to mu naught I upon 4 pi r sin theta 1 plus sin theta 2. Okay, you have to remember that sometimes in the question they give you this angle. If they give you this angle, you using this right angle property, you can say that if this is 90, suppose this is theta, then this will become 90 minus theta. In that case, you will replace theta with 90 minus theta. Okay, so you have to carefully see which angle is given in the question. If this angle is given, then you have to first find this angle, and you have to put this angle in this formula, not this angle. Okay, so now do some special cases in this formula. So again, let us see the first special case, and that is P is any point on the perpendicular bisector. So if P is any point on the perpendicular bisector, that means, so this is point P, on the perpendicular bisectors, that means this angle and this angle will be same. So this is theta, this is also theta. So in that case you will say that theta 1 is equal to theta 2 is equal to theta. Okay, so then magnetic field will become mu naught I upon 4 pi r sine theta plus sine theta, that is 2 sine theta, that is equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi r sine theta, and the direction is inside the plane. Then we have a semi-infinite wire. In the semi-infinite wire, we will deal with three cases. The first case here is, see, this is the semi-infinite wire. That means so at one end there is infinity. It is extending up to infinity. Okay. So suppose P is a point exactly opposite to the uh, last point. Okay. So here you will see that theta 1 is almost equal to 90 degree. Why? Because it extends up to infinity. So if it extends up to infinity, it will subtend an angle almost equal to 90 degree. So theta 1 is equal to 90 degree, but theta 2 is 0. Why? Because this is the R line and this is also the the line joining the end point with point P. So if they are both the same line, that means theta 2 is to be 0. So the magnetic field will become mu naught I upon 4 pi r sine 90, that is 1, plus sine 0, that is 0. So B is equal to mu naught I upon 4 pi r. Okay. Then we have a semi-infinite wire again, but this time the point P is downwards and it makes an angle theta with R. So now this is R. A wire is only up to here, but perpendicular distance you have to extend it. Okay, for perpendicular distance you have to extend it, but the wire is only up to here. So this is the end point of the wire. So the end point of the wire is now subtending an angle theta. This time this angle will be minus theta. Why? Because the plus theta is when you measure angle in upwards. If you measure angle downwards, then the angle has to be written as negative. So you will write theta 1 is 90 degree and theta 2 is minus theta. So in that case, B will become mu naught I upon 4 pi r sine 90, that is 1, plus sine minus theta, that is minus sine theta. Sine of minus theta is minus sine theta. Okay. Okay, everybody has understood, I hope. Now let us see the last subcase of the semi-infinite wire, and that is when this is a semi-infinite wire and P is a point upwards at an angle theta. So in that case again theta 1 will be 90 degree, theta 2 will be theta plus theta. So the magnetic field will become mu naught I upon 4 pi r into sine 90, that is 1, plus sine theta, that is sine theta. Okay. So now comes the last case. Uh, of this formula where both sides are infinite. When both sides are infinite, in that case you will see that theta 1 is 90, theta 2 is also 90. So if theta 1 is 90, theta 2 is also 90. In that case, the magnetic field will become mu naught I upon 4 pi r into sine 90 plus sine 90, that is 1 plus 1, that is 2. So the formula will become mu naught I upon 2 pi r. So this is the most important formula among all the cases. The magnetic field due to an infinite current carrying wire carrying a uniform current is equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi r. All right. Now let us look at the direction of magnetic field. Now this is also very important to look at the direction of magnetic field. Okay. So you have seen that in this case, the direction of magnetic field is what? The direction of magnetic field is here is inside the plane. The direction of magnetic field here is inside the plane. Okay. Why? Because dl vector is means upwards, r vector is towards right, the thumb will point inside the plane. But similarly, if you look at this point, here, at this point what will happen, if you point your fingers along the current and curl it towards the r vector, the thumb now will point in the out of the plane. So at this point the magnetic field is out of the plane. At this point it is inside the plane, at this point it is out of the plane. So at any random point, how we will find the direction of magnetic field? So look at this diagram properly. So this is your right hand and this is your thumb. Point your right hand thumb along the current. point your thumb along the current, okay, and curl your fingers, curl your fingers. So if you curl your fingers, you will see that you are making a circular path. The direction of the curl of the fingers gives the direction of magnetic field. The direction of the curl of the fingers gives the direction of magnetic fields. Okay, so this will be a circular field. Okay, so here if you see this diagram, you will see that here it is inside, here it is outside, and this will be the direction of magnetic field. Okay, here inside, dotted is inside the plane, dotted is inside the plane, dotted means inside the plane, and dot and bold lines means outside the plane. Bold lines means outside the plane. Okay, so now since this field lines forms a circular loop, that is a closed loop, that therefore these are not conservative field. Unlike electrostatic field, the magnetic field due to current carrying wire is not a conservative field. Conservative field can never form a closed loop, but here you are seeing that it is forming a closed loop. Okay, okay, then let us have one question. So let us assume that you have a current carrying wire I along the z axis. So you have a current carrying wire along the z axis and in the positive direction, positive z direction, and it is an infinite wire. Suppose there is a point on the x-axis 3, 0, 0. Then what is the magnitude of the field at this point? The magnitude of the field will be mu naught I upon 2 pi r. R is 3. The perpendicular distance from this wire of this point is 3. So the magnetic field here will be mu naught I upon 2 pi 3. Now to find the direction, what you have to do is you have to point your thumb you have to point your thumb along the current. So you will see that your fingers roll, fingers curl in this way. So if your fingers curl in this way, then this is the direction of the magnetic field. So the direction of the magnetic field will be along J cap. Okay. Similarly, if you want to find the magnetic field at this point, suppose it is 0, 4, 0. So the magnetic field here will be, the magnitude will be mu naught I upon 2 pi r. R is 4. Okay. And if you want to find the direction, again point your fingers along the, point your thumb along the current and see how your finger curls. So your finger curls in this direction. That means this will be the circle, this will be the circle, and this will be the direction of magnetic field, and this is along the negative x-axis, that is minus I cap. All right. Now suppose you want to find the magnetic field at this point, that is 3, 4, 0. So in this case you can see that this point is, so suppose this is the wire, this is the wire. So this point is at a distance of 5 meter, because 3, 4, so this is 3, this is 4, this is, by Pythagoras theorem, this will be 5. Okay, so this is the magnitude of the distance between the current carrying wire and this point. So the magnetic field magnitude will be mu naught I upon 2 pi r, that is mu naught I upon 2 pi 5. Okay, but now what will be the direction? Again point your fingers, point your thumb along the current, curl it. When you curl it, you will see that it will be an anti-clockwise circle. So at this point it will be along in this direction. Okay, it has to be perpendicular to r. Okay, so this is r vector and this is perpendicular to r. So now you know that if now this vector is 3 I cap plus 4 j cap, then what will be this vector? This vector will be minus 4 I cap plus 3 j cap, because you know that two perpendicular vectors, the slope product has to be minus 1. So the product of slope here is 4 by 3, here is minus 3 by 4. So the product of slope has to be equal to minus 1. Right? I hope everybody knows how to find a vector which is perpendicular to itself. Okay, now this is the vector, but you need a unit vector because you have already calculated the magnitude. You just need the direction. So the direction will be minus 4i cap plus 3j cap divided by 5. So this is the direction of this vector. Okay, understood? Now suppose you have to find the magnetic field at any point 3 comma 4 comma minus 6. Now 3 comma 4 comma minus 6 will be at some point here, but still the distance from this infinite wire, because it extends up to infinity, the distance from the infinite wire will be same, and that is equal to 5. So if the distance will still be same, there will be no change in the formula. That is, the magnetic field will still be this. Okay, because let me tell you one example here. See, if you are to find the magnetic field at this point, or you are to find, this is infinite, or you are to find the magnetic field at this point, both magnitude will be same, right? Because it is an infinite wire. Theta 1 will be 90 degree for this point also, this point also. So it is the same case here. Understood? Okay, so now we have some questions. So here we have two current carrying wires. Here we have two current carrying wires. Both are inside the plane. So this is the current carrying wire. Current is inside the plane. Suppose the magnitude of both the currents is same, I and I. And suppose they are separated by a distance. 2a. Okay, if they are separated by a distance 2a, so, and this is the perpendicular bisector, and this is the perpendicular bisector, and there is a point P, at a distance y on this perpendicular bisector. At this point P, you need to find the magnetic field due to this, and this means the resultant magnetic field. Okay, so first we will find the magnetic field due to this. Now this wire is at a distance of under root a square plus y square. This wire is at a distance of under root a square plus y square from point P. Okay, so I have drawn this here. So this wire is at a distance of under root a square plus y square from this point. Okay, so if you write the magnetic field due to this wire, you will write mu naught I upon 2 pi r. R is under root a square plus y square, and the direction will be, for direction again point your thumb along the current is inside the plane. Curl your fingers. When you curl your fingers, you will see that the magnetic field will be in this direction. Why? Because this is the curl. Okay, and the magnetic field has to be perpendicular to r. Okay, so this is the direction of the magnetic field, and B1 will be equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi under root a square plus y square, and this is the direction. So let us suppose that this angle is theta. So if this angle is theta, you will see that this angle has to be 90 minus theta. Okay, so if this angle is theta, this angle has to be 90 minus theta. Okay, so what you have got here, you have got the magnetic field B1, and with the vertical it is making an angle 90 minus theta. So you have got this B1 vector. Now let us look at this second wire. Now this second wire is at a distance again same under root a square plus y square. So this second wire is also at a distance under root a square plus y square. Okay, so the magnitude will be same. B2 will also be equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi under root a square plus y square. But this time what will be the direction? Again, point your thumb along the current. So the direction of the curl of your fingers is clockwise. So this way, so this will be the direction of magnetic field. I have drawn this here. Under root a square plus y square is the distance, and because of symmetry, this angle theta, this angle is also theta. Okay. Yes, so I have drawn this here. This this is the r vector under root a square plus y square, and this will be the direction of the magnetic field. Now again, if this angle is theta, this angle is 90, this is 90 minus theta. So when you draw b2 vector, you will see that it is making an angle 90 minus theta with the vertical. Now b1 and b2 has same magnitude, and the angle between these two vectors will be how much? This total angle is 180 degree. This is 90 minus theta. This is 90 minus theta. So this angle has to be equal to 2 theta. 180 minus this is 2 theta. So the resultant will be, now if you have two vectors of equal magnitude, then the resultant vector is 2a cos theta by 2, and the direction is along the angle bisector. So here we have two vectors of equal magnitude subtending an angle theta. So the resultant will be along the bisector of these two. The bisector of these two, that means this means the along the x-axis. So this is the x-axis. The direction will be along the x-axis. Okay. So B resultant will be 2b cos 2 theta by 2. Why? This is 2a cos theta by 2, that is 2b cos 2 theta by 2, that is 2b cos theta. So that is equal to 2b. B is how much? Mu naught I upon 2 pi under root of a square plus y square into cos theta. Now from here you will see that cos theta is how much? Cos theta is a upon under root a square plus y square. Cos theta will be y upon under root a square plus y square. So the value of cos theta will be y upon under root a square plus y square. So the magnitude of magnetic field will be mu naught I upon pi y upon this under root a square plus y square multiplied by under root a square plus y square will give you a square plus y square. Okay, so this is the magnitude of magnetic field at any distance y. Now you want to find that at which y the magnitude of magnetic field will be maximum. For that, what you will do is you will differentiate this d with respect to y. So dB by dy and equate it to 0. When you equate it to 0, I am not differentiating it. You can differentiate this function yourself and you will see that y is equal to plus minus a. Y is equal to plus minus a. So if y is equal to plus a or minus a at these 2 points, you will see that the magnetic field will come out to be maximum. Okay. Everybody has understood? Yes. Then again, now here we have taken some more problems. We will only find the direction. The magnitude, how to find the magnitude, I have already discussed in this part, how to find the magnitude when you have two current carrying wires. Okay. Now let me tell you one more thing here. Why we have not found means why we have not drawn these two in the same diagram. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me very carefully here. So suppose you have this current carrying wire and this is the distance y. Now the direction of field B1 was in this direction, but B1 and this line are not same. They are not collinear. They are not collinear. Why? Because this angle is 90 minus theta, but this angle is theta. This angle is 90 minus theta, but this angle is theta. Okay, so this magnetic field vector and this joining these 2 points, these are not the same line. So that's why I have drawn it separately. So that you do not confuse and mix B1 with this line. Understood? Never mix B1 with this line. I want to know about the direction. But rest of the thing is homework for all of you. So this is the current carrying wire, and this time the current is out of the plane. Here also the current is out of the plane. So you will see that due to this, listen carefully now, due to this, place your thumb along the current that is out of the plane. So you are curling your fingers in the anti-clockwise direction. That means at this point the field due to this wire will be in this direction. Similarly, if you see this, again it will be anti-clockwise direction curling, that means this. So the resultant of these two will be in this direction, again horizontal. Okay, now in the same way, this time we have two current carrying wires. One is out of the plane, the other is into the plane. So first let us see what is happening due to this out of the plane current carrying wire. So the out of the plane current carrying wire, place your thumb along the current. So again you will curl anti-clockwise. So you will see that this is the direction of the magnetic field. Again, see, this line and this line are not collinear. Okay. Now again, see the second wire. See this second wire. So this time you have to place your thumb inside the plane and see, you will rotate clockwise. When you rotate clockwise, this will be the direction of magnetic field. Again, these two lines are not collinear. When you find the resultant of these two, it will be upwards, that is along Y. Okay, in the same way here, this time here it is anti-clockwise, here it is here it is into the plane, here it is out of the plane. So this time you will see that the magnetic field resultant will be inside the plane. You can check yourself. Okay, so this is, here we have found out the direction of the magnetic field, but now you will have to find the magnitude. That is homework for all of you. Okay, you can join me on Telegram and ask your doubts there, the link of which is given in the description box. Now let us look at two current carrying wires. Suppose this is I1, this is I2, and now we have discussed the points which are in the perpendicular bisector, but in this case we will discuss the points which are along the line joining the two wires. So in this case we will discuss the points which are along the line joining the two wires. Okay, so let this current is I1 and this current is I2. So we have to find the magnetic field at 3 points. First point is inside the plane. Magnetic field inside the means magnetic field between the two current carrying wires. Magnetic field between the two current carrying wires. Then we have to find the field in these points, that is magnetic field to the right of the right of the right wire. This is to the these points represent magnetic field to the left of the left wire. But all the points are on the line joining the two wires. All the points are on the line joining the two wires. Okay, so now see, draw the graph of magnetic field versus any position on the line joining the two currents. Now let us first take these two current carrying wires I1 and I2, and both currents are inside the plane. When both currents are in same direction, then we will call it like currents. So like currents means both currents are in the same direction. Like current means both current are in the same direction. Now with the blue color here, I have represented I1 current, means the magnetic field due to I1 current, and with the yellow color I have represented the magnetic field due to I2 current. Okay, and in the y-axis we will be plotting the magnetic field, and in the x, this x is basically the position or at any position or any point on the line joining the two wires. Okay, now again the downward direction will be taken as negative. The downward direction of magnetic field will be taken as negative, and the upward direction of magnetic field will be taken as positive. and near a wire the magnetic field is infinity. Why? Because mu naught I upon 2 pi r. Now if r is 0, the magnetic field is r is 0, r tends to 0, r tends to 0. So r tends to 0, then b tends to infinity. Okay, so near the wire the magnetic field will be infinity. It can be positive infinity or it can be negative infinity. Positive infinity. What do you mean by positive infinity? So positive infinity means because the direction was upwards, so we have taken positive infinity. If the direction is downwards, we will take negative infinity. Okay. Now let us look. So due to this first wire, the blue color is representing the direction of field. So due to this first wire, you will see that due to this first wire, place your thumb along the current that is into the plane. Curl your fingers. So you will see that towards the right, the curl is downwards, and to the left, the curl is upwards. So to the right, the curl is downwards, and to the left, the curl is upwards. In the same way, look at this current I2. So what will you see? You will see that place your thumb along the current. Okay, so current is into the plane. So when you curl it, you will see that you are curling in the clockwise direction. So to the right it will be downwards, and to the left it will be upwards. Okay, so you will see that here to the left the magnetic field can never be zero. Why? Because both are pointing in the same direction. Similarly, to the right you will see that the magnetic field can never be zero because they are pointing in the same direction. But the magnetic field can be zero at any point between the two wires. Why? Because they are pointing in the opposite direction. Okay, so I will write here the magnetic field can be zero. The magnetic field can be zero at any point between the two wires. So between the two wires. So now let us see at this point, let us assume that the magnetic field is zero. Okay, so this point is at a distance x from the first wire, and at a distance, because the total distance is a, at a distance a minus x from the second wire. So you will see that mu naught I1 upon 2 pi x has to be equal to mu naught I2 upon 2 pi a minus x. From this, solve for x, and you will get the point where magnetic field is zero. So you will see that this is a linear equation, you will get only one x. So there is only one point where the magnetic field is zero. Okay, now let us come to this graph. How did we draw this graph? Okay, first let us see inside points. So in the second wire, you can see that the second wire the field is upwards. So if the field is upwards, and you know that near the wire the field has to be infinity, so it will start with positive infinity. And here if you see the field is downwards. So, and near the wire the field has to be infinity. Downwards means negative infinity. So negative infinity, positive infinity, here it is zero. We have just drawn any random curve. Okay, if you look at this side, again, you know that yellow is the dominating one here, and yellow is to downwards. That means it will start from minus infinity, and at infinity, see, if you place r is equal to infinity, what will you get? You will get the magnetic field is zero. So at infinity the field has to be zero. So in the y-axis, the field, y-axis represent the field. So here it is minus infinity, and at infinity the field becomes zero. Similarly, if you see here the blue line is the dominating one. So blue is positive, upward means positive, and near the current the field has to start from infinity. So it starts from positive infinity, and at infinity it becomes 0. So here the field is always positive, here the field is always negative, here up to x field is negative, up beyond x field is positive. Okay, this we have drawn for like currents. So now there is a homework for all of you, where you have to draw the same graph for two like currents, but this time they are carrying current in the outward direction. Okay, so this is I1, this is I2. I want all of you to draw the graph of magnetic field versus the position, okay, for two like currents which are carrying current outside the plane. We have drawn it for inside the plane carrying current wires, current carrying wires. Now I am asking you to draw the same thing for a outside current carrying wires. Okay, draw the graph. Okay, so looking at this, you have to draw the graph. Okay, now let us look at unlike current. Unlike current means when one current is suppose in the inward direction, the second current is in the outward direction, right? So we are drawing a curve again for this situation. So let us say it is I1 and this is I2, right? Again, for I1 blue color and for I2 yellow color. So if you look at I1, again you will see that place your thumb along the current, curl it. You will see that it is a clockwise curl. So if it is a clockwise curl, here the current field will be downwards, here also field will be downwards, and here field will be upwards. Okay, you can do one more thing here. One more thing that you can do here is make it small. Why? Because the magnitude will keep on decreasing with r, so this magnitude is small. All right. Okay, and now let us look at the second wire. So second wire, it is the current is pointing out of the plane. If the current is pointing out of the plane, the curl of your fingers will be anti-clockwise. So if the curl of the fingers is anti-clockwise, you will see that here it is anti-clockwise, means here it is upward and here it is downwards. Okay, so again what you can do is you can make this shorter. Why? Because as the distance increases, the field decreases. All right. Now you will see that inside, between these two points, between these two wires, there cannot be any point where the field is zero. Why there cannot be any point where the field is zero? Why there cannot be any point where the field is zero? Why? Because they are pointing in the same direction. So you will write that between I1 and I2, no point can have field equal to 0. Okay, when field is 0, you will say that that point is called a null point. Null point means the point where field is 0. Again I am repeating, null point means the point where field is 0. Okay, now let us take one more case where I1 is equal to I2. Now if I1 is equal to I2, what will happen is you will see that at the left and at the right, at the left of the first wire and at the right of the second wire, you will see that the fields are in opposite direction. But if you see, this yellow is small, this blue is large, they will never cancel out when the current is same. That means if I1 is equal to I2, field will be 0 at, no, if I1 is not equal to I2. So if I1 is equal to I2, you will see that there is no null point, means there is no point where the field is 0. But if I1 is not equal to I2, what will happen? Listen to me carefully now. If I1 is not equal to I2, then there will be field, then field will be 0 at one point. Where? Let us check. See, suppose I1 is greater than I2. Suppose I1 is greater than I2. Okay, in that case, see, I1 field is, we have drawn here small, right? this is small. Why? Because of the distance. But because the magnitude is large, this can be large also. Due to the distance, the field is small, but due to large magnitude, it is possible that the magnitude might be the magnitude of field also might be large, because magnetic field is mu naught I upon 2 pi r. If r is more, field is less. So here r is more, but field but current is also more. If current is also more, then it might happen that these two balance each other, and it might happen that these two cancel each other. But if you look at these 2 points, if these points, this to the left, what will you see? You will see that blue line is more because the distance is less. Blue line is more because the current is also more. So in both cases, this is more. If this is more, they will never cancel each other. So here there can be no cancellation. Here there can be cancellation. That means that means that means what? That means that if I1 is not equal to I2, field can be 0, or field will be 0 in fact at one point. Where is that point? That point is not between the two current carrying wires. That point can be here or here. Where will be that point? That point will be near the smaller magnitude current. So this was the smaller magnitude current. So field will be 0 at one point near the smaller magnitude current. Now let us take the first current is 9I and the second current is I. Then where will be the point of, where will be the null point? The null point will be to the right of I2. Let's say at a distance x. Then you will write mu naught 9I upon 2 pi into a plus x. This distance from this wire is a plus x is equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi x. So I have taken the x is from the second wire. So from this you will get x is equal to a by 8. So at x equal to a by 8 there is a null point. Understood? So for unlike currents, what you have to remember, I will repeat it for you. For unlike currents, there can be no null point between the two wires, but there can be null point to the left or to the right. Now when will there be a null point? If both currents are same magnitude, then there will be no null point. But if both currents are opposite, if both currents are of different magnitude, then you will see that there will be zero magnetic field at one point. And where will that point be? That point will be near the smaller magnitude current. The smaller magnitude current in this example that we have taken is I2. So that's why the field is zero near I2. Between the two wires there will never be zero field. Now let us come to the graph. So let us come to the graph, and you will see that to the left of the wire, the blue line is dominating. The blue line is dominating. That means the field is positive. So we have drawn the positive field. Between these two, you will see that the field is negative here also, and there is no null point. So negative, it will start from negative infinity, it will end at negative infinity. Okay, and if you see to the right of I2, you will see that initially yellow was dominating. Initially yellow was dominating because it has to start from positive infinity, because near the wire its own field will dominate. So due to this wire, the yellow is the field. So it will start from infinity, but because this has higher magnitude, what will happen? At some point there will be a null point. So at some point the field will become zero. Okay, and after this point, now this small blue line becomes dominating. But after some point, again the field will start to decrease. Why? Because you know that at infinity the field has to be zero. At infinity the field has to be zero, because it decreases with r. It has an inverse relation with r. So as r keeps on increasing, field keeps on decreasing. At r equal to infinity, the field becomes zero, or field tends to zero. Okay, now that we have discussed this case, now I want all of you to draw the graph of this time. This is I and this is 9I. B versus X. Also find the null point. Draw the graph and find null point. Draw the graph and find null point. So you can clearly see that the null point will be to the left of this. Here there will be a null point. I've already told you this. Near the smaller wire. Okay. And also one more question that I'm giving you is, this time take this as outward current and this as inward current. 9I, same thing, draw the graph. Okay, so looking at this, I hope everybody will be able to draw the graph. Okay, the concept again I will repeat for you. The concept is, check the magnetic field due to each wire. If you check the magnetic field due to each wire, if the net magnetic field comes out to be downwards, then it will be negative magnetic field. If it comes out to be upward, it will be positive magnetic field. Then you have to remember that near a wire the field has to be infinity. Okay, it can be positive infinity or negative infinity depending on the direction. All right, I hope using these points you will be able to draw the graph that I have given to you. If you like my video, do hit the like button and share my work with your friends, your juniors, your seniors, and any other student who is preparing for JEE, NEET, and any other competitive exam. Also, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload my next video.